What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Opps SportsCast. We're so grateful to have you joining us. I'm your host, Dave in the Cut. And today's episode, we're going to be discussing sports lockouts, fly Eagles fly, fly Eagles fly, Reddit
Yeah.
fandom, and the Euro games. Euro games. What do you guys think
Mm.
that's about?
Let's find out.
Yeah,
We're
we're
going to
gonna
find
talk
out.
about
Zeke, I
this.
can't hear you,
Let's
man.
find out.
All right, cool. All right, let me introduce my crew. Let me start to my right.
I'm Josh, HCF Eastside represent.
Chris Peasy in the building. What's up,
It's your boy
everyone?
Big Zeke.
What's up, Big Zeke? All right, fellas. Welcome to the show. So glad to have you guys here. I love you, brothers, man. Appreciate you being here with me.
We love
So
you right
love.
back, dog.
Yeah,
Peace.
absolutely.
Tell us about this week's sponsor, my brother.
For sure. All right. So what we got is Elevated Creations ROC LLC is Rochester's premier women-owned balloon and event decor specialist. Whether you're planning an office party, intimate birthday celebration, or luxurious wedding, Elevated Creations ROC LLC will transform your vision into unforgettable memories. Stunning balloon arrangement, custom centerpieces, welcome signs, and seating charts, they do it all. Elevated Creations ROC LLC is here to make your event exceptional, creating moments that wow your guests and make your special day truly extraordinary. So if you want to transform your event from ordinary to extraordinary, visit their website, elevatedcreationsroc.com, for more information. Elevated Creations, we were created to create.
Dope.
All right, my brother. Elevated Creations. I appreciate you. All right. So we ready to get into this, brothers?
Yes,
Let's do
sir.
it.
For
Y'all
sure.
sure?
Let's
All
get
right.
it.
All right. Cool. All right. So how this works is we bring up a topic, all right, and we use a show of fingers to display whether we agree or disagree with the topic, with 5 being in agreement and with 1 being in disagreement with it. All right. All right. Cool. So
Dope. Yep.
everybody's good.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
All
man.
right. Let's go. Let's roll with that first topic, man. All right. An MLB lockout in 2026 is a sure thing due to current spending trends and growing calls by many for a salary cap. All right. Let's get it. 3, 2, 1.
Okay.
Okay. So we got
Got a good
5,
mix.
Josh with 3, PZ with 4, Zeke, you have 5.
Yes, sir.
PZ, jump it off for us, man.
Yeah, so this is a growing problem. We saw this with Pete Alonso, staying on the market. Same thing with the Astros third baseman, Bregman, not getting a contract. We saw it last year with Blake Snell. They were having some major issues as well, agreeing on a contract. Eventually, Blake Snell finally was able to sign on with the Dodgers. But it's a big problem, and the players are starting to take notice. We got 12 billion in revenue from the league this year. And so essentially, if you guys don't understand how the MLB handles their revenue, they have the teams put essentially what amounts to about 1/3 into revenue sharing. And so that way you can kind of balance the haves from the have-nots, right? And so the teams that aren't making a lot of their money. And first, I think we got to take a step back to understand the differences between the leagues. Like the NFL makes the majority of their revenue from those massive TV contracts that they sign. So they got billion-dollar contracts with Prime. They got billion-dollar contracts with now Netflix uh, for the broadcast on Christmas. Billion-dollar contracts, obviously, with Fox and the lights. YouTube steps into the play. Billion-dollar contracts we're talking about. When we look at baseball, we see that there's a different format. Baseball, the majority of their revenue comes from local ticket sales, from local sponsorships. And that's why, like in baseball, you'll see TV channels like the Yes Network, or you'll see TV channels like SNY, right?
Mm.
Because a lot of their revenue comes from those kind of local deals. And so when you have a baseball team in a smaller market, it's not the same thing like when you have a football team like the Packers in a smaller market, where generally they're still flush with cash for the most part and still able to go after free agents, although the Packers may be a bad example because they really don't do a whole lot of free agent spending, but that's by their design. When you look at baseball, we see that these specialized TV channels, they bring in the majority of the revenue, and these teams are not spending on the lower tiers of the totem pole. So you got teams like the Marlins that really haven't spent anything. And every single year, when you look at baseball, you see that this team creates talent, and then they ship them right out because they can't
But what
afford them.
about teams like the Dodgers? The Dodgers are spending.
Well,
How
the
do you, so
Dodgers
Big
are
money.
the
spending.
argument for them is we're spending. We can't worry about everybody else.
True. I mean, there's I don't think that's the issue when it comes to the pending lockout. I think the problem is that in the contracts you have that these teams that receive the revenue sharing are now required to spend 1.5 times the amount they receive. So for example, I think like the Marlins received almost 70 million dollars, and their payroll I don't even think is that much. And so like their highest player being like Sandy Alcantara, and the average baseball fan like most of us here probably wouldn't be able to name very many players on their team because they just don't go out and they don't spend.
Yeah. Josh, how do you think it translates over like from baseball to like if there was a lockout in football?
Yeah, I mean, for me, Chris put it in a good perspective for me to understand. Like, sometimes it's the markets that are making the teams money and not so much the ticket sales, right? But inevitably, sports is dedicated to the fandom, right? It's without the fans, there's no market for any type of sporting event. So for me, I would say just in general, a lockout would hurt the sport overall. Just because there's no games, and if there's no games, there's no fans in the seats. If there's no fans in the seats, then you're losing faith with a fan base. Um, but God forbid, man, if like my favorite football teams, the Eagles, decided to lock out for spending reasons, I'd probably be really hurt by that. I
Yeah.
want to see them play each week.
I think
So
go
that's
ahead.
that's my two
Go ahead. I'm
cents.
sorry.
No.
I was just gonna say for me, like being a Yankee fan, I'm
Hmm.
all the Yankees spend. I feel like Steinbrenner. I don't feel like I feel like Steinbrenner will spend if Cashman tells him to spend. Hey, it's okay. Go ahead, spend money. But you have to look at it like from the viewpoint of like the owners, right? For as far as a lockout, they say that they want to keep the fans happy, but all they really care about is really themselves, right? So with the Steinbrenner family, and other families too. Like you look how they have that legacy money, right? So the Steinbrenners, they own the Yes Network, right? And they own it outright now. They don't share it with anybody else. Nobody else
Right.
has a majority percentage in it. They do. So if the team doesn't play, they're still getting revenue off of the Yes Network. They have other entities. George Steinbrenner, he made his money in the shipyard industry, making building cruise ships and stuff like that. They
Hmm.
have other businesses that line their pockets. So this is just like really play money for them.
Sure.
They couldn't care less if they had to lock out. They act like they do, but they're still going to make money on merchandising and off of the other businesses that they have outside of baseball. So I don't really think that they care about a lockout. I think that um, I just don't. I don't think they learned anything from 1994. 94 was horrific. And the only
Hmm.
thing that saved baseball then was the home run chase. And so baseball can really thank Sammy Sosa and Mark McGwire for saving baseball. You know what I'm saying? See, what you think? What you got?
So there's really no scenario where a lockout is good for sports. Um, but I think ultimately it's kind of like a self-inflicted wound. Um, we see all these big contracts get signed, and um, owners are stuck. I can't say stuck because the contract is a two-way street, but you look at like the example of Anthony Rendon. He's going to be making $38.5 million this year, and we don't know if he's going to play when he's going to. Pitchers and catchers reported today. By the way,
Yeah, they
happy
did.
baseball day.
Happy
Glad
baseball
football is
day,
over.
brother.
Um,
Not
but
happy
yeah,
baseball day to Anthony Rendon, though.
not Anthony Rendon. No, not
Well,
at all. Um,
His poor
he's
hip. His
somebody
poor hip.
who, and it's a tricky thing with contracts, especially when you're dealing with sports who deal with guaranteed contracts, because a
right,
lot of times players get paid on what they've done and what owners hope is going to be future production. Um, Albert Pujols got paid a very handsome contract, and some will say he did not live up to that contract. He got paid for what he did up until that point, but from the point that he got that contract to the point that he retired, the highlight of that contract was him finally getting the 700 home runs in his final season.
right.
Mm.
You look at Mike Trout. Before Otani got 700 million, Trout got what, almost
500.
450 million?
Yeah,
Was it 500
500.
million? Something like that. And the man can't stay on the field.
Nope.
Crazy dollars.
And it's
Oh,
sad
he
because he
also
was
got
on his way
picked
to
number one
being
on the
the
top
greatest
100
player ever.
list yesterday. Did you hear about that?
What happened?
MLB voted him the number one player out of 100 players in MLB yesterday.
I thought he was like 39 or something like that.
I thought they ranked him. I thought they ranked him number one, if I wasn't
Nah,
mistaken. You
I
could be
saw. I
right.
was watching. They did 20 through 11 a day, and they
Oh,
were
okay.
doing the scroll at the bottom. I
All
could have
right.
swore I saw Trout at like 39, which rocked me
Okay.
because for forever, like it was breaking news when he got knocked down on number two.
Yeah. I think he deserves. If it's 39, I think he deserves 39, bro, because he can't stay on
Absolutely.
the
I mean,
field.
my boy Acuna got knocked down from 1 to 16 because he was hurt last year. You can't be
Yeah.
the number one player in
Crazy.
baseball if you're not available.
Yeah,
Um,
if I could add one more thing, I think the reason why we're heading towards a lockout is more significant than that. You have players that, they want to get paid what they're worth, and they're looking at the
Hmm.
disparity between the contracts in the MLB, where like literally you have teams that are have and have not, but you also have players that are have and have not. Where you're looking at the Shohei Otanis, you're looking at the Juan Sotos, you're looking at, even Bryce Harper. You're looking at these guys with really, really large contracts, and these players in the league, they're like, I may not be as good as them, but I'm not that far behind. And the pay disparity is huge because
Yeah.
the people that are willing to bid on those players, look at the players I just named: Shohei Ohtani, Juan Soto, Bryce Harper. Those players play for teams that are big teams, right? They're the Phillies, the Dodgers, the Mets, Aaron Judge with the Yankees. But do you have any names like that on teams that aren't really those big players? And so that's a really big problem because, like, if you're in a market where the major player teams already have that satisfied, now you're going to the St. Louis Cardinals. Now you're trying to get that money from the Colorado Rockies. You're trying to get that money from the Pirates, and it's just not going to happen because they
Yeah.
don't dole out contracts like that. And so you end
Nah.
up sitting on the market, and you're playing musical chairs, and you find out there's no chair for you.
Yeah.
Mm.
well, and it doesn't help. All like I'm watching some of these pitching contracts that got doled out this year. You got players like Alex Cobb and Max Scherzer and Justin Verlander getting $15 million this
Yeah.
year. Charlie Morton, $15 million. I think the Braves paid him close to 20 million last year.
It's
Like I
because there's
love
no
Charlie
pitching
Morton, but
available, man.
he's not a $20 million pitcher anymore.
It's
He's
because
not
there's
even a
no pitching
$15
available.
million pitcher anymore.
Yeah.
But these guys are coming out getting these 1 year deals for 15 mil. So you have these other younger pitchers who are like, yo, if he's getting 15 million, if Verlander's what, 42, 43? He said he wants to pitch till he's 45. I don't know how many bullets he have left in his tank, but he had a very
Mm.
bad season last year. Max Scherzer couldn't stay healthy last year. Charlie Morton, I mean, he was all right for us, but he didn't have a spectacular season. Why are they getting $15 million? These younger pitchers are like, look, I'm 10 years younger than some of these guys. I think I'm just as good, if not better. I want more than $15 million a year.
It's about
And
control. And you know that. You know, innings pitched. It's about the control. It's about this kid might be the next Maddox. You know what I'm saying? Let's put him on a pitch count. It's all the little games that
here's the
they
problem,
manage
though.
to create the
Maddox had the
control to
control,
watch.
but he was also cerebral. If you're not putting in the time in the film room to learn these batters, you can have all the control you want, and it'll get smacked 450 feet into the left field bleachers. Because these hitters these days don't play.
Well,
So I mean, Justin Verlander, is he a decent pitcher still? He doesn't suck, but you go out there with mediocre stuff against the Aaron Judge, against the Soto, against an Otani,
you're gonna get
a
rocked.
healthy Acuna, it's a different ball game.
Yeah. Well, to
What do you
wrap it
guys
up, man,
think?
I
Like,
really think that I think my biggest fear with the lockout is that the salary cap is going to dominate the lockout,
Mm.
and the owners, some of them, I feel like half of them will rock with it. I don't think any of the players would go for it, and the players' union definitely ain't going to go for it. So I don't know.
Can't imagine.
Yeah.
And
So
let me just throw this. Let me just throw this
but
out there, Dave. You mentioned the '94 MLB lockout, and I googled it. I wanted to see what the heck was going on. My camera's doing some crazy stuff. Um, the '94 lockout canceled 938 games in
yeah,
the entire 1994 postseason, included
unprecedented.
the '94
It
World
was bad.
Series.
It was
Bro,
bad.
that's again from the fan perspective. Why is my camera doing that? From the fan perspective, I would be like, I'm done with this
Man,
sport.
it's the
Look, if
decadence,
it
man.
wasn't for Sosa and McGuire, baseball was in a bad place when they came back.
No doubt.
I was just gonna say that, Zeke. Actually, that's exactly what happened. Which is kind of why when we were having the Hall of Fame conversation, like you got to put them in. Like baseball was in a
You
really,
can't tell the
really bad
story of
place
baseball without them.
until they came roaring it back.
Absolutely.
Speaking of you remember the commercial, Zeke, with the Braves pitchers?
Chicks
Chicks
dig the
dig the
long
long
ball.
ball. Yeah, that was with Mark McGuire, and that was
Yeah,
like that was the big thing.
Maddox
That's
and
that's
Glavine.
how that's what brought people back in the stands.
No doubt. All right, fellas, great discussion on that. Let's jump into
Can we
let's
skip
jump
this next
into
segment?
this. Huh?
Can we skip this next segment?
Nah,
Oh
man, we're
no,
not gonna skip this next segment,
Dang,
man. Let's
man.
come on, man. So listen, so we know, everybody knows, and everybody that watched the first episode, well, anybody that knows brother Josh knows that Josh is a huge Eagles fan, and I want to dedicate some time to a segment for Josh so he can talk about his Eagles, man. I want to congratulate you on your Eagles winning the Super Bowl, and
appreciate
yeah,
you.
and melting the Wicked Witch, and I know that feeling, man, of like bringing it home, but I also know that feeling like that Mahomes is going through right now, or Chiefs fans, how they feel about that, losing a big game like that. But
Hmm.
man, listen, the thrill of the victory, man. I'm just like, it's a big moment for you, Josh.
It was, man. I tell you what, it brought me back 4 years ago when Nick Foles, caught that pass, the Philly special in the end zone, man. And I just remember being excited then. And this was just a dominating performance through
And
and through.
a cowboy actually was able to win a ring out of this whole situation too, right?
Yes, yes,
Right, Zeke?
Dallas himself. Dallas himself. We're talking about Dallas Goddard.
Zeke, did you hear about that?
Nope.
Nah, he wasn't paying no attention to that. But nah, in all seriousness, I know Zeke is the one that hates this the most because he's a Cowboys fan, and it's all right. It's all right. Your time's coming, maybe. Uh, but the Eagles definitely just smashed the Kansas City Chiefs.
I think the
And
defense, man.
although the game wasn't
The
that
offense was on
interesting,
point with that on that game, man. But I think the defense really the defense was the MVP,
for
man. I'm not
sure.
hating on Jalen
Yeah.
Hurts.
Yeah, nah, I hear you on that. Look, guys, let's give some love to our commenters here. We got Liz Ortiz, she was talking about the MLB lockout, right? And she's saying that there'll never be a MLB lockout. Salaries will continue to rise because MLB has a standard, and now these athletes think they're worth it. You know, it's a good take. And then, of course, when we started talking about my Eagles, kid,
Shalice
he
came through.
he
Shout out
says,
Shalice.
"Boo!" Nah, but Anissa, my sister, she's got me. She gave us the birds, man. Go birds, go birds.
Fly
And then,
Eagles
of
fly.
course, Shalise, she comes in and she agreed with Zeke. She wants to skip the segment. But just because of you, Shalise, I'm just going to put this out there. I got one more thing I want to show you.
Let's see it.
Devontae Smith. Devontae Smith. Smitty. We call him Smitty or Slim Batman. He
Nobody's
is
ever called him that.
one. Yes, absolutely. Look it up, Zeke. Google it. He is one of 5 players to win the Heisman Trophy, a Natty, a national championship, and a Super Bowl. So he joins a league of men like Tony Dorsett. Come on, that's your boy, Zeke, Marcus Allen, Reggie
Tony
Bush,
D
and
is the
Charles
man.
Woodson. Some elite company right there. So I just had to shout out my boy Spinny.
No
Bro,
doubt.
he would be drafted last out of all those 5 players, though.
Why is there so much hate for the Eagles,
Yo,
man?
it's
What is
facts.
Unbelievable.
the
It's
deal?
It's
facts.
unbelievable. It's unbelievable. It's okay. It's
Unbelievable,
okay.
man.
It's okay,
Bro, do
boys.
you
Just
know what we would have had to deal with
fix
if
that
Patrick
ring on him.
Mahomes won another Super Bowl? If he won
Thank you.
3 in a row, we would never ever have a commercial without Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid in it, man.
You
Look,
think they're going away because they lost the Super Bowl? They'll be
They would
back.
have Andy Reid doing them diabetes commercials since the other dude passed away. You know, what was his name? Wilford
Diabetes.
what? Wilford
diabetes.
Brimley? Am I
That's a
lying?
legend, man.
Bro, it just means we got to deal with Tom Brady more because they would have stopped calling him the GOAT. And I would have been okay
Oh
with
my
that.
God. Because he is the GOAT, man. What's the
Yeah,
problem?
there's no
The
discussion about it
problem
right
is
now.
Time out
Baby
though.
is the
Time
GOAT.
out. Time out. We're not just gonna write off Patrick Mahomes because he lost one. Because Brady
I
didn't
am.
go 12 for 12.
Come
You
on,
can't
man.
write him off, but until he can prove himself in those big
He's
game
got
moments
plenty
and
of
not
time to prove
choke.
it. He had
Okay,
one bad game, and it wasn't all on him. He had no help in that game.
that's okay.
Bro, but they were getting
Every
ready to
time he
That's why
move
you
snapped the
can't
ball and
talk
Patrick
dropped
about him
back,
right
Mahomes.
he
now.
had 2, 3 defenders in his face.
Zeke, you're telling me right now he's the GOAT over Tom Brady?
I'm not saying he's the GOAT, but everybody's writing him
Okay.
off and hating on him like he's what's the dude that used to play for the Bills? JP Lossman. Patrick Mahomes is a
Well,
great
when you sound
quarterback.
like Kermit
He's
Frog,
on a great
when
trajectory.
you sound like
So
he
time will
sounds like
tell if
Kermit the
he's in the
Frog.
GOAT conversation at the end of the day. But you look at his resume, it's hard to say that he's not in the GOAT conversation now.
Okay, you can't deny his
Is he the
greatness. There's
GOAT? No. But is he
there's no
worthy of the
denying it.
conversation? Absolutely.
I don't
Yeah,
think he
but
can
if he
be
won 3 in a
considered
row,
worthy of it.
people would have had an avenue to call him the GOAT. The fact that he
Absolutely.
didn't get that, now it's like, all right, bro, now
Okay,
you got to
he's
get
not the
7
GOAT, but
rings.
he's in the conversation. Like,
Mm.
okay, he lost this year. Who's to say he won't be right back in the game next year?
Hey,
Bro,
You
I'm
Zeke.
look
not
at the
arguing with
stats,
you.
the last, what, since 2012, it's either been Brady or Mahomes.
Bro,
Zeke, I
I'm
got
not
a question
arguing
for
with you.
you.
I'm just saying, like, if he
Hold
would have
up. I
won
got a
that,
question for
he would
Zeke.
have had a leg up.
I got a question for you, Zeke. You ready?
Shalice, anything for you,
Zeke,
fam.
man, I got a question for you. You ready?
Come on, give it to him.
What's
What
up?
do you call 53 men watching TV? Better
What do
yet,
you
what do you
call
call
them?
53 men watching the Super Bowl?
What do you
Dallas
call them?
Cowboys.
The Dallas
Cowboys.
Cowboys.
The Indianapolis
I knew
Colts,
that
the
was coming.
Buffalo
I knew
Bills, the
that was
Miami
coming.
Dolphins. Keep going. Keep going.
Yo, Indy, we knew we wasn't going anywhere. You
Look, you
hear
talk
me?
about all
Just
this Philly
we not
hate.
talking, man.
You talk about all the Philly hate. The Cowboys are the most hated franchise in all of sports,
Bro, Dak
not just
just came
Man,
out and
football.
said, "Oh, it's our turn next." Man, listen, man.
yeah.
Okay,
I'm gonna tell
now
you something right
look,
now. The whole Dallas Cowboys team got a better chance of getting struck by lightning at the same time and winning the Super Bowl next year.
listen, listen. Dakota
Uh,
Rain Prescott was smoking the good stuff before he got up to the podium and said that. I don't agree with that at all. I hope they shock me, but I don't see it happening. As
all right,
long as
let's move
Jerry
on to
Jones has
this
breath in
next
his
topic.
lungs, we're screwed.
Oh,
Poor Zeke. Poor Zeke. He about to have another aneurysm on this
Yeah,
No, no,
Straight
no,
yeah.
no,
better.
All
no,
right,
no,
Let's
no, no,
let's
no.
stop
listen.
it.
Like I said about 10 minutes ago, happy baseball day.
Yeah,
It's
happy
baseball
baseball
season.
day.
Yeah,
On
Happy
to the
Exactly.
baseball
next.
day.
we gonna keep it positive on that note. All right,
Let's do it.
real quick. So before we go any further, man, I wanna big up my boys over at Opposition Radio. Um, they Opposition Radio is a 24 by 7 streaming radio station that offers Christian hip hop, EDM, R&B, reggae, Latin, and pop music. All right. Uh, Not only am I a listener, but I just happen to be one of the owners. So I'm very proud of Opposition Radio. I just ask that everybody go and check us out, show the artists some love. We have some amazing artists in rotation over there, and new up and coming talent, seasoned artists that have been around for a long time and have helped elevate the Christian hip hop game to where it is today. So when you get a chance, just check out Opposition Radio. In your internet browser, just type in the oppsradio.live and check us out. All right.
Dope. Good
All right.
stuff.
Cool. Cool. All right, fellas, let's move on to the next topic. Zeke, I'm sorry about that joke, man.
It's all good, pimp.
You
I'm
my
used
man,
to it.
50 grand, man. I'm just, you know what I'm saying? All right, here we go. The recent public displays by sports fans showing their feelings about moves that their favorite teams are making are not as concerning as the media is making them out to be. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. All right, I got 3. Zeke has got 4. Peasy, what you get?
Put two.
2. Josh, you got 4. Josh, let me hear you first on this, man.
All right. So the reason I gave it a 4, originally I wanted to give it a 3 again because again I think that we've all agreed that sports organizations are going to make their money no matter what. You know, they're going to find ways to make it, and they don't always care about so much the fan base or the players or anything like that. It all comes out to a dollar bill. Um, but then I started looking at it again from the fans' perspective, and whether or not these organizations and these owners are gonna make the money the way that they do, they still have to consider those people that are sitting in the seats and filling the stadiums. You know, some of these stadiums can seat up to 70,000, 80,000 people. And
Mhm.
for anyone to ever be like, no, they don't mean anything, or their concerns about their team's moves aren't something to consider would be crazy, right? Again, your whole purpose as an entertainment company is to entertain the people. And we all know that the media likes to take things and twist things and put out these weird narratives or maybe say things or take comments out of context. But if you look at like the most recent big time trade with the Luka Doncic trade over to LA. You know, there were Mavericks fans that were pissed. I mean, pissed, and rightfully so. These people are invested into their teams, and they're watching them. They're buying merchandise. They're buying tickets. They're season ticket holders. They're in the stands in the stadium, and they want to see their favorite players. They want to feel like they're on the road to a championship of some sort. And so for me, I just look at it from that perspective. I do believe that it is concerning, and the media should highlight some of the fans' concerns because maybe, just maybe, it will give these owners a little bit more perspective back into the seats of what it feels like to be a fan of a team. That's my take.
All right, I'm gonna go next, guys. I picked 3. I put up 3, and it's because I think that my concern is less about how the fans are acting, and it's more about what the fans are missing. And
Mm.
I understand the emotion, you know what I'm saying, behind the fandom. Um, I've been a Yankee fan since I was born. I'm hopelessly locked into it. I didn't have a choice. Like from the cradle, this is all I knew. And I passed that same passion on to my grandson. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes like when I talk to him, I can get a little. So I'll give you an example. So like when Juan Soto didn't re-sign, right? And as he was, he was really hurt. It was his first World Series where he experienced the Yankees losing, so he's emotional about that. And then Juan Soto leaves and goes to another team, and I'm talking to him, and I don't even realize it, man. And I tell him, I'm explaining to him, Juan Soto deserted us. He left us, and I said he's dead to us. You know what I'm saying? And that's that fandom. You know, it's the fandom, and the thing about it is a lot of times our fandom and our emotion gets misplaced, especially in a situation like where Luka gets traded, right? And the Mavericks fans they're ticked off about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Be quiet, Chris.
Please
Somebody
do.
kill Chris's screen, his camera real quick.
Is this distracting to you?
Nah, man, it's not. So the thing with Luka, right? What fans don't really understand is like where they feel powerless, they have all the power, right? All it takes is for fans to not show up to games to make a statement, but they can't. And so it's kind of a catch-22 because the same thing that gives them the power is the same thing that causes them to not have power, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because they don't realize they have the power to enforce change by not showing up to games and hurting the owner and his wallet. But their fandom won't let them do it. So their fandom is what keeps them coming there. So in essence, they're kind of like, for lack of better terms, they're a slave to their own fandom. And their own fandom is what's causing them to not be able to make that statement. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because no matter how many times the Yankees have let me down, my wife will tell you, man, I'm like, Aaron Boone is a moron. I'm never watching this team ever again. And then the game come on. Now I had a stretch where I went like 3 weeks where I didn't watch a Yankee game and take in any news. I was really, really upset. But then I thought about it. It was like, listen, you're either gonna ride with it or you're not. And that's,
Yeah.
for me, that's when I had to, when I realized like my fandom is a little bit out of control. And I need to get a wrap on it and realize, at the end of the day, man, it's a game, it's entertainment. And our passion gets lost in that.
Yeah.
So seeing the Philly fans in the streets and doing all that crazy stuff, it's hard to be, tearing up your own stuff and destroying your city and stuff. Some of that stuff is ridiculous, man. But then when you look at it as a fan, you're like, man, I feel them, man, because it's a journey. So and they don't know if they're gonna get there again.
Mm-hmm.
So you know,
I don't know, bro.
Yeah.
I mean,
Zeke, go
there
ahead,
was
Chris.
there was memes online that had like two avenues that led to the same destination, and it was a destroyed street, and the caption said, "Eagles win, Eagles lose. Don't matter what happens, they're gonna destroy their street." You know what I mean? They're gonna destroy their city, and that's exactly what happened, man. And that's why I gave it a two because I think that's wild. I think that's what I was saying last week. The hardest part of going for the Eagles. Although I did want the Eagles to win, like my wife was looking at me like, "Who are you going for?" Because you said you want the Chiefs to win. I was there like, "Yeah, but when the game is on, I'm rooting for the Eagles because on the field, I want my man Saquon to get one. You know what I mean? I'm rooting for the Eagles. It's just I hope they don't win because I don't want their fans to get that satisfaction because I think they're most of them, not you, Josh. Most of them are
Appreciate
just
you.
terrible people, bro.
Absolutely, you,
Like
Josh.
terrible. Like they don't know how to act.
Zeke, you are about to get muted.
So like, man, it's just it's difficult. And so like those that fan base, I don't think deserves to be rewarded. That's kind
Dang,
of how
that's
I feel
harsh.
about that. That's how bad it is. And I know I'm a Mets fan, so I'm naturally not gonna like Philadelphia fans. But maybe the baseball is kind of a different animal in that usually it's not as aggressive as football. But in general, man, those fans are just terrible fans, man. So like, no, I don't think they're making it or underselling it. I think those people need
Terrible
to get their lives
fans.
in line. What do you say?
You said they're terrible fans.
They're
Philly
terrible fans,
fans
bro.
are terrible.
So you destroy your own city? Like it don't
bro.
you
But
like you
they,
just won, bro. Like you're gonna like burn it to the
yeah,
ground. Like that don't make any
but
sense.
Chris, hear me out, right? Just entertain me for a second. Imagine Buffalo Bills go to the Super Bowl and win. I mean, we just recently had riots and looting in the Rochester streets and the Buffalo streets for, mind you, some other reasons, right? But that was a show tell sign of people's passion and things that they believe in. If you believe in the Buffalo Bills, like those Bills Mafia dudes who are jumping on burning tables off of 4 foot snow mobs, I, I just I just find it hard to believe that it's just the Philadelphia Eagles fan base
Bro, I'm
that are
consistent though. I thought
going
when they were
extreme.
burning down the city in Rochester and Buffalo, I'm consistent. I thought that was ridiculous too. Because like the whole thing
Absolutely.
was there like, yo, we're advocating for, more minority owned businesses and junk. And they were burning minority owned businesses to the ground. I'm consistent.
Exactly.
That made no sense to me either. Just like this
Sure.
makes no sense to me. Like you want to big up your city by destroying it? That makes no sense to me. I can't get behind you like that. Like there's other ways to big up and show your pride for your team and for your sport. You're giving high fives, you're going down the street, you're doing the parade, you're feeling good. That's not it, man. Like to me,
or
like
bringing a
that's
big purple doofus into your stadium and he becomes the temporary mascot for
hey,
your team.
whatever
Yeah,
works,
right.
whatever you got to rally behind.
Grimace.
Bro, but wouldn't you rather that than like if your house happened to be on the main drag of the parade and it just gets absolutely destroyed? Like, bro, bring out the purple grimace. I'd rather have that than to
Bro, what
have
is Grimace, man? What is he?
you want the story behind Grimace?
Nah, bro, I really don't. I couldn't care less.
We
We
don't
could
have the
tell you
time for
about the
that.
last
We don't have
year's
the
New
time
York
for that.
Mets.
I
We
was
could tell
just
you about that,
entertaining
bro.
you for a minute, but yeah, I definitely don't care about Grimace or where he came from.
The
His arms
OMG
is as short
Mets.
as a medium sub, bro. I don't know what that dude is, man. What is anyway,
But
we're
I
not
mean,
gonna worry
real
about
talk though, like just to kind of finish on that topic though, like you saw with the Luka trade, we now have seen that the general manager, Nico Harrison, is now receiving death threats
it. Yeah, man,
because of
that's
trading
ridiculous,
the
man.
franchise, the face of the franchise, which I think I'm consistent, man. I also think that's ridiculous. Now, I thought the trade was ridiculous, but I also think the reaction is ridiculous. You know what I mean? And
Mm-hmm.
so, like, literally there was people that were kicked out for just mouthing on the jumbotron,
Yeah.
fire Nico, and they kicked them
Now
out of the
that part
building.
is whack, man. Like how do you allow your fans to be fans if they can't voice like they were mouthing it. They weren't it wasn't like they were, you know, and the whole thing with the signs, they're like they brought in signs. They can bring in signs any other time, but if it says fire Nico on it, then that's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Like how do you allow your fans to express themselves in a nonviolent way at games? It's the equivalent of like telling them that they can't boo. You know what I'm saying? That's just
Right.
ridiculous, man.
Well,
It's
they
just
had a protest outside of the Mavericks game. Hey, but throw up that quote. Someone agrees with me in the chat. Amara Martinez. Let's go. That's exactly it. That's exactly it.
You
Zeke,
can
you
be
good?
proud of your team, but don't have to trash your city. It's very true.
Yeah, Philly fans.
Zeke, what you got, man?
I I really don't think it's that big of a deal. Like, fan is short for fanatic. You're gonna get people who say all kinds of crazy things when their team does something they don't like. Death threats is nothing new. Um, there have been plenty of times where, God forgive me, I've passively wished harm on Jerry Jones. But if he died tomorrow, I'd be a little sad about it.
Oh, Zeke, come on, man.
Look, we being honest, we being transparent.
Nah,
Okay,
bro, that's a
there's been
little
plenty
too
of
Confession,
times
extreme.
man.
where
What?
I've
You got to have a
said
special prayer for
until
Zeke
Jerry
after
Jones
this.
is 6 feet under, the Cowboys are going to suck. And I don't want the Cowboys to suck forever, so something has to change. Yeah, I've said that. Would I be happy if he died? No, it would
You
suck.
sure about that?
Um, Positive. I don't wish. When I say that, it's normally after he does something stupid or says something stupid, and it causes harm to our team, and I'm upset. Like you said, Aaron Boone is a moron. I'm never watching again. And then Sunday afternoon at 1 o'clock or 4:30, I got Fox on, and I'm watching the Cowboys. So,
Right.
excuse me. I'm not worried about it. The problem is people are much more sensitive to that type of talk nowadays. So when somebody comes out and says, "Oh, I want the general manager to be dead," it's like, "Oh my God, you can't say that." Yeah, it sucks to say that, but people, dang, Anissa,
That's what I was laughing at.
She did you
I ain't want
greasy.
to talk no more.
Yo,
You
real
done?
Um,
talk, Zeke. I'm there with you, bro.
Oh,
yeah,
y'all made
Because
Zeke wrap it
I
up.
felt the same. I mean, as a Knicks fan, I felt the same way about James Dolan. That man, I felt like he was ruining the Knicks for decades. They turned it around now, but like for decades, I was there like, man, I can't. I wish he would sell. I don't remember ever wishing he died. I just wish that he would sell.
well, here's the thing though. Like James Dolan might sell the team. Jerry Jones ain't selling the team. The Jones family is gonna have the Cowboys until there is no more Jones family.
Oh, Jerry Jones is gonna have them take out his brain and
On some
operate the
old Ted Williams
franchise
type
long
stuff.
after his body is gone, bro.
Hmm.
Like
I
put the
I
brain
don't
into a
know.
robot and let me run the team
When it
through this
comes to the
robot.
Colts, though, I
I'm never gonna
kind of
die.
feel the same way that Zeke feels about Jim Irsay, just a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Well, no, I'm there with you.
You know,
All
it's
right, can we move on? I don't
maybe
want
he
these
goes
people
on one
thinking
of
I'm some kind
his
of
benders and it just
maniacal
doesn't end
psychopath.
well. You know.
Oh, it's too late for that, bro.
Sorry, Zeke. Sorry, Zeke. You let your true
Dang.
feelings out on the Opps SportsCast.
All right, we good, fellas.
Yeah, let's move
Nah.
on. We don't wanna hold this out too much longer.
All right, straight. Let's get to the third topic here. All right. All right. American sports franchises are on the right trajectory with considering expanding their sports leagues into European countries. All right, let's get it. Three, two, one.
There it is.
I got one. Peasy has two. Zeke two. Josh five.
Oh, you're 10
Whew.
toes down.
Okay. Let's let's go with Zeke. Let's start with Zeke first.
Okay, this is what I'm gonna say. It's gonna be short and sweet. If y'all are worried about death threats and fans being crazy over here, you go into Europe. Those dudes don't play about their fans, their
Okay.
franchises. You watch those soccer games, or as they call it, football.
Hooligans, right?
Oh my gosh, they are crazy. Like you think I'm crazy for what I just said? They'll actually go do it. Like I've heard of them throwing bags and like balloons filled with bodily fluids and excrement at players, and like
Ugh.
the the taunting. And I feel bad for the black soccer players over there because as long as you're winning, you're gold. But if you have a couple bad games,
It's a wrap.
yeah, you can only imagine the types of names that you're being called over there. Mario Balotelli was one of the best players over there, and he started slumping, and all of a sudden he wasn't Italian. He was just another, you know. So yeah, you want to expand over there, you're gonna have to deal with. Will it make money over there? Probably because again, the fan bases over there are way more rabid than ours. They support their teams faithfully. But if you think New York media and LA media is rough, wait till you deal with a European fan base of a team who's lost 3, 4 games in a row.
Mm.
Yeah, it's not pretty.
Josh, what you got, man?
I gave this a 5, and I looked at this from a whole different perspective. I looked at it from the sports franchises and um, like American football, for example. And I call it American football because, like Zeke alluded to, soccer. Most other countries call it football. It's not. Um, it's not what we know as football. So, with that being said, I just put it from the perspective of you start promoting and start expanding territory for the sports leagues into these European countries and even into these South American countries and into Asia and all the other continents, you will start seeing more people find a love for the game and then giving opportunity to maybe these areas that maybe they're not great at soccer, football, but they're big build and they could play football. I look at guys like Jordan Mailata. He's an Australian dude that played rugby, and the
Hmm.
Eagles drafted him right after
Yeah.
he entered the draft. After somebody just told him, like, dude, why don't you go play football? You can make way more money in American football than you can in rugby. And he did that, and the dude just signed a crazy contract with the Eagles. So I look at it from the perspective of when you expand these American sports franchises out further, you actually are putting more opportunity in the hands of people, not just Americans, but un-American alike. It's my
Yeah.
take.
All right, I'm gonna
That's
go
that's
next.
I respect that take. Sorry to jump in.
Go ahead.
I respect that take, especially when you like included all the other areas like Australia and like the Central America, South America. Specifically for Europe, mm-mm.
Yeah.
I don't. The travel alone, like constantly sending teams back and forth across the pond, it would be easier to do something like Mexico or Brazil. I got a feeling where Dave is going to go with this because I know Dave and I know his passion, so I'm not going to rain on his parade. I'm gonna let him have his fun with it. But certain countries with certain sports, I don't think it's feasible logistically, man. It's just
Mm,
it's a train wreck waiting to happen.
yeah.
There's some expansion, great, but as far as going like back and forth to Europe every week, I don't see it being feasible.
Peasy, what you got?
Yeah, I'm with you, Zeke. I don't like the idea for the most part. I think MLB has the formula right, where they had like the World Baseball Classic. I think that's a lot of fun. Um, when you could do that in spurts, you know what I mean? I think you take the luster out of it when you start putting teams everywhere, kind of like when interleague baseball used to be a thing. Like Mets play the Yankees, that was a thing. You know what I mean? Like the White Sox play the Cubs, that was a thing. But now that you just got interleague every single year, it's not really a big deal anymore. And so I think you'll lose the luster over time. And I think you're just adding more stress to an already stressed environment when you're taking those kind of mileage, to go from here to there. I mean, I can understand Canada and Mexico because, Canada's probably going to be the 51st state soon anyway.
Stop it.
But like when you go into Europe, you go into these places over these weird countries, man. Like I'm not feeling it. I don't think you need to do that to advance the game or necessarily grow the game. Like I don't like the idea of MLB starting its season in Japan or anything like that. I mean, they got an audience already with Shohei. I mean, I know they're trying to cater to that, but I prefer like you start America's pastime in America.
Mm.
That's me.
Let me just cut in here real quick. I just looked up something and it just sparked my interest. So I know like during the whole MJ phase, right, and then transition into LeBron and the GOAT topic, the NBA has a significant impact in China, being considered the most popular sports league in the country with a massive fan base generating substantial revenue through merchandise, sponsorships, and television rights. The NBA is the most popular sports league in China. According to S&P Global data, 90% of adults watching basketball in China tune into the NBA.
Wow.
And a lot of that
NBA
had
is
to do
huge,
with
so
like the the NBA didn't have a team over there. The globalization of the NBA happened with the Dream Team.
Right.
Right.
Utilize the Olympics, send your best players to the Olympics if you want to expand the game, and you do what the NBA did when they bring Yao Ming. That's the two words. That's why
Great
China's
example.
so into basketball.
Mm-hmm.
They were when he came over, and they still are. But there's no NBA team in China. They
No.
didn't need to do that. They just utilize the Olympics, put the sport on a global stage, and like Chris said, with the World Baseball Classic for baseball, I don't know if y'all remember NFL Europe, that was a thing. If you want to do something like that, where you don't have to have teams go back and forth, but have like a almost like a what's the UFL or whatever it is,
Hmm.
do something like that over in Europe. See if you can get that to be successful over there. But as far as expanding the leagues where we got actual teams that play on our schedule where we gotta go back and forth, I don't think that'll work.
But isn't that what we see in like soccer? Like soccer has
Yes,
multiple leagues. And
leagues,
Yeah,
so
but
like,
absolutely.
soccer is a global sport, man. It's
but that's
like
what I'm saying. Like have multiple leagues. Like we don't need to combine everything just because our league is the best,
And
right?
then every
the
4
Like
thing
years get
have
a
your
about
own
it
World
is
league.
when the people over there want to see the best. You know, when a Mike Trout goes overseas, you know what I'm saying? They want to see Mike Trout. They love, you know what I'm saying? He's like, even though Mike Trout is a bum now, okay, I said it. You know,
He's injured.
Mike
There's a
Trout is a
difference.
bum now. Ugh.
anyway, I'm not. I'm gonna leave that alone, man.
I hope he has a healthy season
They
just to shut the haters up.
they want to
Go
they
ahead,
want
Dave.
to see him, man. You know what I'm saying? Because it's Mike Trout. You know, um, now I don't think Mike Trout really has the personality to promote baseball because he's just like, I mean, he's just not promotable. But that's a
Yeah, he's
whole
just a
other
dude.
story. Huh?
Plus Shohei
He's just a
struck him
dude.
out in the World
Yeah, he's
Baseball
just a dude.
Classic. If he
So
hits
let
a
me.
home run off of Shohei and wins it for America, that's my guy.
Uh,
He could do no wrong after that if he hits that.
my take on this thing is and Zeke, I think you already know. Um, the game is called America's Pastime, right?
Hmm.
We live and die in the fall classic. Our team goes hard, you know, they fight hard, they lose, and then we have to spend the next couple months waiting until the winter meetings, and then the winter meetings are over, and then it's like what? You know, you got a couple scraggler signings, you know, free agents, and then you have to wait until a day like today, where the pitchers and catchers report, and it's a long winter, and then we get opening day, and then you're going through the TV, and you're like, "Where's the game? Where's the game?" Oh, that's right, they're playing in Japan. They're playing the first couple games in Japan, right? Over the last 10 years, 40% of opening day games were played in Asia. 40%. That's ridiculous for America's pastime. Opening day should be on American soil every year, every single year. Um, I think it was 2023, I want to say, was the first time since 1968 that all 30 teams played an opening day game. Like every team played an opening day game. All of those games were on American soil. And that's how it should be every year. Um, they have the Korean Baseball League, they have the Japanese Baseball League. There's no reason for us to be having an opening days in Asia. There's just no reason for it.
But the reason
Baseball.
So
they put it on
how would you
opening
feel if they
day,
took like that game or that couple games and did like the NFL does with like the Hall of Fame game, like a couple exhibition games or whatever that don't count toward the standings? Would you be okay with that?
I'd be fine with that. And a matter of fact, so if you look at it like this, when when does the KBO come over here and play a baseball game for Americans?
They don't.
They
They just
don't.
send their best players to come play in our league.
Exactly. They just come. They send their best players over here to get our owners' paychecks over here. They don't care about. They know they can't grow the game here, and they're phenomenal players. Don't get me wrong, man. But and it's no hate against those other leagues. I just feel like as fans of baseball, man, like as a true fan of baseball, I don't want to wait until opening day and find out that okay, the Yankees are going to play one game and then they're going to be off for 2 days and then they're going to play another two games to finish that series up. But meanwhile, the real opening day happened 6 days before that over in Japan, and I mean it's just ridiculous. It's like I just don't understand. Like we're not building a team over there. So why
Dave, what do
do
you
I
think
get
about the
it.
NFL? What do you think about the NFL doing that? Because they got a bunch of teams playing over there, and then they have like a bye week. Um, your opinion change at all for the NFL?
Yeah, I think because the NFL isn't they're like doing it mid season. Like and they're doing
No,
it the right way. When
they
was
opened up the opener. The opener this year was the Eagles against Green Bay in Brazil.
was it really I didn't even realize that, man.
Yeah, first
That's
game of the
because
NFL
nobody pays
season.
attention to the Eagles.
That's the thing though. It's like
Not today.
I mean I didn't even miss it. You know what I'm saying? I didn't even miss it. Now Josh, you knew that because you're an Eagles fan.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If the
No,
Yankees
no,
are opening up over in Japan, I'm gonna know about it.
Well, they got
but
the
so Dave,
I
Jaguars
guess it's
playing
all
in
relative.
Germany,
yeah, but
and they
Dave,
have the Giants over there.
Dave, you made a point about like how a lot of these international sports players are not coming over to American sports and making that great of an impact. But how do you explain the Roberto Clementes or the Sammy Sosas or these guys that are not American bred, but they are from international places that
They
have
are.
lasting impacts on the games?
But you know what? The thing about it is those guys. So Roberto Clemente was a trendsetter. You know what I'm saying? He's
Hmm.
one of the first and one of the best to do it from where he was from. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's because of Roberto Clemente we have a Sammy Sosa. You feel what I'm
Mhm.
saying?
Yeah, I
So
got you.
it's like you look at Shohei Otani. You would swear Shohei Otani invented baseball the way that everybody bows down to him. But
Mm.
He
you know
didn't
what?
invent it, but he's revolutionizing it, man.
Huh?
Right.
He didn't invent it, but he's revolutionizing it.
Yeah.
I
So
mean,
I get it, but there's no Shohei Otani if there's no Ichiro. You feel what I'm saying?
Ichiro got
Or
plenty of
Hideki
fanfare when he came
Matsui.
over here, though.
There's no Ichiro without Hideki Matsui.
So I think what you're doing, Dave, is you're arguing my point. Is that when you start expanding into these other territories and you give these nations that may not have had natural inclination towards American sports, now you open up a new door to have these guys come in and really revolutionize the
Bro,
game
I
I
get
and
would
that.
disagree
forever
with that though.
The
prolong the game.
agent. Here's the thing,
I,
Josh. We don't have to spend tens of millions of dollars to go over there to do that
that's what I'm
because
saying.
they want to come over here anyway,
Yeah.
Look at the
regardless if
NBA.
we go play games over there or not.
Look, just look at the NBA. When you're seeing like we don't got any teams over in these other countries in the NBA. You did it all based on the dream team, and now you got the major stars, Giannis Antetokounmpo, right? You got Luca, you got
Wemby,
Wimby.
Wemby, all these
my
dudes from
boy.
different countries that are the stars of that league, and there's no teams over there. They got their own leagues. So like, keep your own league. Like we got our own thing.
What I wish baseball would do, though, and I mentioned this to you guys earlier. I didn't know it was going to creep into the conversation, so forgive me for saying it wouldn't. But with how basketball does it, when their players want to come in from other countries, they go to the draft. There's no international free agent
Right,
pool where the Lakers can sign all these big stars like the Dodgers are doing. Shohei wants to come over, put him in a draft pool.
right.
Let him get drafted by the White Sox.
Don't let him have the pick of where he wants to go.
Huh?
Don't let him have the pick of where he wants to go.
Right. Because I mean, yeah, he chose the Angels, but he thought it was going to work out because he had Trout, Pujols, Rendon. It just didn't pan out. So what did he do? He took his ball and he went up the highway, and now he's at Chavez Ravine,
No
making
doubt.
crazy bank. But I mean, I applaud Ichiro for starting in Seattle, and he helped turn Seattle into a powerhouse. They got the
He
record for
did.
most wins in a season in MLB history. Him and A-Rod did that, and everybody else on the team. But yeah, I mean, he didn't go to the Dodgers or the Yankees or the Red Sox. He didn't choose a big market team. He went to Seattle and made them somebody. I wish baseball teams like the smaller market teams would have like open season on all these stars that are coming over. You guys want to come over? Bet you might get drafted by the Rockies. You might get drafted by the White Sox. You might get drafted by you might luck out and drop and get drafted by the Yankees or the Dodgers, and then
Yeah.
make crazy bank. But open it up, add some more parity and don't just let the Dodgers sign everybody and push all the contracts off until 2087.
Yeah, I think I think Jose just hit it on the head when he said, when they go over to the other countries, it's all about the money. All
Yep.
it is, man, all it is a big recruiting thing. They go over to Japan, they're giving the Japanese players a little taste. They're like, hey, you look good in this uniform. You know what I'm saying? It's like, why don't you, and then the money starts exchanging hands. Some of those, what are those fees called? There's so many fees going back
For
and
the
forth.
posting fees?
Posting fees, yes. The
Yeah.
posting fees for some of those, they pay the posting fee and then they have to pay the player. It's ridiculous,
And I think Dave Roberts is doing it right. When the Dodgers go over there, he said they're going to be playing 2 games. Yamamoto and Sasaki. That's who's
Yep.
going to be pitching. 2 of Japan's best exports are going to be on stage wearing a Dodgers uniform.
Saying
And
this
there's a
could be
lot of
you.
players that are about to be free agents, a lot of
Yep.
young players that are coming over to the States. And where do you think they're going to want to go?
That's it, man. All right, fellas. Well, we're up against it, man. It's some great topics, and had a good time with you guys. It's the first time we went live, so we really appreciate everybody sticking
live
around and
comments,
joining us. And yeah, we really appreciate the interaction, the comments. We're gonna be doing this every Wednesday. It's gonna be live every Wednesday at 9 p.m. We were a couple minutes late today. This is our first time streaming live, so moving forward, you guys will see the link up for the show. It'll be pre-scheduled, so you'll be able to get in early and sit in the lobby and wait for the show to start.
Make
So
sure you like and subscribe
yes, please like and subscribe.
and share.
It really helps us, and share and let others know about the Opps SportsCast, and we really appreciate you guys. So, Josh, you want to cue us up, man? And
man.
Hold on. Before we leave, just in case Shalice is still watching.
Oh, that poor Blue Star.
Oh, man. All right.
There you go, Zeke.
That's my home.
Mad props.
Awesome.
Is that 1 star like Google review? Does that represent?
Here we go. All right,
Chris, you
fellas.
represent a lot of loser in your fan base right now. I mean, y'all really hanging on to that 1986 luster, ain't you?
Yeah, they
I
are.
was just wondering if you was leaving a review. So, my bad.
Beanie Babies had just came out when you guys were Beanie Babies even out then? Who was president when y'all won it the last time, man?
Dang.
Gas was 89 cents a gallon the last time y'all won.
Dang.
Oh, man.
Get him.
That might actually be a true fact right there.
Right, we got to look that up.
Yo.
Last time Mets won the World Series.
Yeah, let's
look
the
number 1 song in America.
We'll do it next time. We'll do it next time.
At least we made it to the World Series. When's the last time y'all made it to the big game?
Who, the Braves?
No, the Cowboys.
Bro, the last time y'all won that, the earth was actually flat the last time.
Dang.
All right,
all right, y'all.
All right. We appreciate everybody, and we'll see you everybody next week. We really appreciate the support. So you guys be easy. Peace and love. And we'll see you guys next week. All right.
Peace.